when drawing lower legs, I think it's quite easy because there's not much muscle over there compared to, forearm, where there's like tons of these kind of nitty-gritty muscles attaching here and there. Calf is easy with just a few muscles attached to it. The hardest part I had when it comes to calf is that I don't really know how to draw the knee that well because it involves the understanding of both thigh muscle and calf shape, tibial shape to it. So we'll talk through them, starting from the anterior, so the front side of the lower leg. The bone-wise, let's look at the bones first. Bone, we have our patella bone over here, which is our knee bone. We have our tibia bone, the fibula bone, and then our foot at the bottom. Just to let you know that the fibula bone is on the outside, so the lateral side of the lower leg. So starting from the anterior side to the front side of lower leg, it's quite easy. I just summarized it into two sets of muscles. One is the anterior tibial muscle, and the other one is just lateral muscles. The the lateral muscle are muscles that attaches to this side, roughly this side of the lower leg. Let me reduce this. So they attach here. There are a lot of muscles here, like 4 or 5 of them. Some of them has tendons that go all the way down to our big toe, those kind of toe digits. They look over here. So when it comes to the muscles, these muscles. These muscles over here. These muscles. You can see that some of them has some tendons all the way down to our toes. The second one is the anterior tibia bone, anterior tibia muscle. It's the muscle that starts roughly here. It goes across and roughly here. It's actually like this, and then there's like a tendon all the way down to the sole side of our foot. Looks like this. And that. So we add our anterior tibial bone, anterior tibial muscle. It's just a muscle over here. And then we have our soleus muscle at the back. So remember these two sets of muscles in the lower leg, and then we'll add on the muscles from the thigh regions. So that's our quadricep muscles coming down and then having tendons to our patella bone, go across and then to the front. And then we have our abductor muscles, the gracilis muscles, and what's the other one called again? Sartorius muscles. Oh, too many names, man. Too many names. Here we have our tensor muscles here, the ilio tibial tract coming down to here, something like this. And the hard part of the knee is that we need to include our understanding for both muscles and the skin together. So if we add this part to it, we do have some fat tissues around the knee, so it might have a bit of fat tissues here. We have our muscles coming down. So when it comes to it, it will look something like this, where you will see the quadricep muscles, maybe a little bit on the rectus femoris. That's our tendon. And then we will have our tendons coming down to the tibial bone, fat tissues, fat tissue, fat tissue, fat tissue, and then going down the shape like this with our soleus muscle, which we'll talk about later in the back side of the foot. We have the other side of the iliotibial tract coming down here, we have our lateral muscles coming down, and then we have a little bit of muscles here. So if you look closely, you will notice that this side is bone. Your bone is relatively not covered by the muscles in the medial side, so the internal side. That's just some like shapes that you will notice when it comes to this. You will see this kind of triangle shape because the iliotibial tract, oh, anterior tibial muscles is is covering the side. We have our soleus muscle from the back side of the lower leg. And also to add on to it, if we look at the tibia bone, it's actually like a triangle shape when we look from up to down. So when we look up to down, it looks something like this. And then we have our, like that, then like that. And that's our fibula bone. And then that's our foot, big toe, other toes, something like that. So this kind of shape, this triangle shape, gives the calf like a triangle kind of projections when drawing it. Just something to keep in mind, you know. The next one is the back view. So for back side of the lower leg, it's quite easy. We just have two main muscles over there. And again, that's the femur bone, tibia bone, fibula bone. That's the foot. That's the calcaneus bone over here. So we're looking at the foot this way. And then we're looking at right foot. Yeah, right leg, sorry. So starting from soleus muscle. Soleus muscle is the muscle that looks like this one over here. This big muscle is the soleus muscle. So if I add it onto it, yeah, that would look like this. Something like that. And then you'll see the tendon coming down to the calcaneus bone, something like that. Okay, so that's the first muscle. Obviously, we have tiny muscles beneath it, but it doesn't really give much to the shape, so I just disregard them. Next one is the gastrocnemius muscle. That's the one that we often see, which is this one. These two, this one and this one. The attachment will be on the femur bone, so from here, down to, kind of big shape. And then again, the tendon will come down to the calcaneus. If we add on the muscles from the thigh region, then we will see this. The hamstring, hamstring will be coming down from the side to the front to the side of the tibial. So like that, like that. And it will be like that, like that, like that. And then we have our a bit of glutes, the abductor muscles. So that looks like that. So that's all. That's all for lower leg. It's quite easy, I would say. It's just the understanding about the knee section is a bit difficult, but otherwise it's okay, in my own opinion. So let's do some practices. Starting from maybe this one, maybe. All right. So join this will be relatively easy. The character is quite a static pose. One, two. Mm, there we go. Something like that. And then he's holding something over here. There we go. So starting from, we'll combine all the knowledge with thigh pelvis, okay? So starting from the pelvic region, we have our pelvic pubic symphysis over here, the handles, the external genitalia. Our bone is coming down here. We have our patella bone, then our tibial bone, fibula bone on the side. Same for this side. So we have this. That's the tibial bone. The inside, we don't really see the fibula bone. We don't really see that. Okay. So adding on to the muscles, I'll zoom in now. Maybe you, yeah. So starting from this, we have our, ooh, what? Yeah. We have our quadriceps here. We have our abductor muscles, external genitalia, tensor muscles, glutes coming out to the back, maybe like that. And then we have our knee, so patella bone coming out, down, and then again the anterior tibial muscles comes from the outside towards inside, so something like that, and then we have our lateral side muscles over here, and then we have our foot. Then this side, this is just the tibia bone coming out. We have our soleus muscles at the back, and that, and then we have our sartorius muscles and the gracilis muscles coming out, something like that. And then same for this side. That's the abductor muscles, the quadricep muscles, sartorius muscles here, and then we have our patella bone. Patella bone coming down with the tendons. The tendons I was talking about is this. Mm, this this thingy is a ligament. Sorry, that's a ligament. That's not a tendon. Okay. Then we have our hamstring. Hamstring is at the front. Our gastrocnemius, soleus muscle below to the calcaneus, and then we have our foot. Foot is like that, like that, like that. We have our internal arch, like that, something like that. Okay, good. Next one. Next one. All right, next one. It's not very. Yeah, I think we can do this. So, starting from this, we will start from the general pose to, yeah, here, and then here. Okay, we have our sword, and the other guy, Ugh, and that, ugh, and that, and then and that, something like that. Then the other hand is coming out here. Good. So starting from the bones over here, we have our called the handles, back, the tail, or the tailbone. Our femur bone is coming out to this area, and then we have our tibia bone coming out. Same for the other side. We have our femur bone, the tibia bone, the fibula bone over there. So we're mainly focusing on this leg, starting from the attachments. So I'll zoom in a little bit. We have our that's our rib cage. So we have our abdominal muscles coming out. We have our external oblique muscles. We have the lat muscles coming roughly here. Then we have our glute muscles. So glute is like a butterfly coming out. That's our iliotibial tract. We have our quadricep muscles coming out to our tibia with a ligament coming down. Then we have our hamstring. Hamstring is coming out to the side of the tibia. We have our gastrocnemius. Below it, we have our soleus muscles. Then this side is the lateral side, so we do have a little bit of muscles. So giving this kind of bulk. So instead of doing this, we could add a bit of this kind of curvy shape because there's a little bit of muscles over there. We have this is the lateral side, so that's our fibula. Wait, yeah, so there is fibula. Sorry, so there is a fibula over here. Ta-da! Calcaneus, fat pads, and then the pinky toe, and then like that, like that. Here we go. Hope that makes sense. So in terms of the general outline of it, we could add this, 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 then like that, and then the foot is a bit large, like that, like that. Here we go. Is that okay? And then abdominal muscles. Yeah. All right, next one. Next one. Skip. Can't see. Cannot see. That's a good one. So that'll be the lateral side. So the side view of the foot. So starting from the guy kicking the other guy. And, let me change and let me yeah and then the other guy, let me draw it like that. Maybe, let me try not to cover this leg. And then, and then the hand could go out, go in, and then and then. Ooh, like that. Here, kick. Something like that. Okay, and then the flow will be somewhere here. And like that. Okay, so we'll focus on this leg over here. Again, starting from the bones, the general perspective is coming out roughly like this. So the handle will be here, the tailbone, sacrum bone will be here, the foot like that, and then that will be like that. And then we have that's the side. So we have our tibial bone, patella bone right here. Okay. And then we'll add on the muscles. Muscles wise, we have this is really messy. The quadricep coming down here. We have our tensor muscles, our what's this called? Glute muscles here all the way down. We have our hamstring muscles. So it could be like that, a little bit like that. And then we have our gastrocnemius muscles. So coming out like that. Patella bone, patella ligament. Then there's not much muscles at this side. So like that. It's mainly covered. Let me change the what's it called? The perspectives. Like that. Like that. Then that'll be the back view. Okay. So when it comes to actually drawing it, oh, hopefully this is not too messy for you. Sorry about this. I just enjoy, drawing out everything so that you know what I'm doing. Like that, like that. That's the tendon from the gastrocnemius muscles and the soleus muscles. That's our pinky toe, our big toe. There you go, like that. Like that. That's our fibula, bony structures. Maybe not that much. And then let me change the angle a bit more. That's our patella bone. And then our gastrocnemius. So maybe like that. Like that. And then that's our hamstring. Hamstring muscles. And then our glute. And the other side. There we go. Yep. Nice. Is that okay? Next one. Next one will be. Oh, I can't really see this. I can't really see this. Actually, this one we could. We'll probably have to imagine what's behind underneath this. So starting from here, this guy is going this way. One, two, and then and then where's uh, maybe like that, maybe and that. Then his arm, chest, lats, everything compiled together. And then we have our arms kind of structure, maybe like that. And then that's our lower side. And then our legs coming out the other side. Like that. There you go. This will be a bit difficult in terms of the anatomy. That's our external genitalia over here. Let's try this. Let's try this. This will be our last one then. Yep. So we could let me there you go. So starting from the hip. So hip, we have our external genitalia here. So that means our pubic symphysis is roughly here. Our handle, butterfly, roughly here. Our bone is roughly coming towards this area. This That's our big toe. So that'll be our tibia bone. The tibia bone is on the other side. And we have our calcaneus stuff over here. Then next one. In terms of it will mainly be just the shape then we'll just add on the muscles from something from here. Let's go. So we have a bit of pads coming out. That's our foot. That's our medial arch. My foot, well, his foot, not my foot. Uh, yeah, and then a bit of that. That's the tibial structure. Then let me think. We have our it should be our medial side. That's the emptiness. So that's our emptiness. We have our anterior tibial muscles coming roughly here. We have our gastrocnemius muscles like that. Soleus muscles too. And then we have our hamstring muscles coming out to here like that. This is difficult. And then we have our abductor muscles coming in here. And then, sorry, man, I'm using all my brain power to imagine what this is. We have our patella bone roughly here. So our quadricep muscle should be roughly here, like that. And then our external genitalia, our glute, can't really see it, like that. And these are our pubic muscles. Yep. So, oh, this is good. This is good. I feel good. I feel like I've almost able to, imagine these kind of muscle attachments, which which is like an achievement to me. So something like that, maybe. It might not be 100% correct, but at least roughly, roughly. Yeah, and then like that, the what's it called? The perspective is something like this. There you go. Something like that. It should be, yeah, I think it should be. Yeah, it's not really good now when it comes to drawing the actual like muscles behind this. Maybe like that. Maybe. I didn't do well over here. I probably messed up. But hopefully that makes sense with the whole combination of pelvis, thigh, and calf all together, and a bit of knee attachments. Then that's how that's everything I learned in terms of this lower part of the body. If there's any questions or concerns or anything that I made a mistake on, feel free to comment below. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!